that about sums it up. Not too much more to tell. What's really exciting is when I moved to Virginia, that was a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how long ago it was, but it was to be an au pair, babysitter, whatever you want to call it, for a super, super great family. And what's exciting is the fact that the girl that I was there for, the family that I was there for, are sitting at the table here, and now she is with Jackson Clinic with a doctor in physical therapy. So she's my girl too. So we're very proud to have her here today. It's fun to see how things go full circle. Christina, thank you for having me here today. This is just truly an honor. I visited last month because I kind of wanted to get the lay of the land and see what this whole Sterling Women thing was all about. And it was such a great event, and I have been excited ever since to come back and share with you a little bit about my story. And it's twofold, but the other thing I just wanted to point out is Sharon. Where's Sharon? Okay, I was telling Christina just a few minutes ago that Sharon is like a gold mine. And for those of you who don't know how hard she works behind the scenes, I don't know how long, if you put this together, Sharon, how long we have been planning me being here today. But I went back to some of our old emails. We planned this in January of 2018. So me being here has been 20 months in the making, which, we haven't pondered it every single day since then. But it's just, I had to go back and be like, wow, this seems like it's taken forever to get here. And it's just really I'm super glad to be here. So as Christina said in her introduction, my name is Dorie Howell, and I've been a custom portrait photographer here in the Northern Virginia area for about 11 years. But I'm also, my main reason for being here today is not for my portrait work, but I'm also the co-owner and co-founder of a company called IPS Mastermind, and we just call it IPSM. And we are the leading online education source for photographers to come and learn about how to run businesses. Our business consists of two major components. One is a monthly membership site that people join, and we have classes and seminars and online things that they can learn all about these great things like marketing and that type of thing. And we teach pricing, marketing, customer service, and other business-related topics, all related to just improving their photography business. We do not teach camera skills. And that's a big thing that makes us different from any other entity in our arena, is the fact that we're not going to tell people how to use their flash or focus their camera. We're going to teach them, after they've learned that, we're going to teach them how to go out and make money doing that. Because a lot of photographers these days are dying. The people that you hire and they're only charging a couple $100s, they are not making a profit for all the work and all the energy that they put into their business. So we're just all about that business. And the other part of our business is an online community. And when we first started even thinking about having an online membership site, our online community had grown to be about 38,000 members. And we started approximately 4 years ago, and it started kind of by chance, as most great ideas do. My business partner, Rachel Boer, and I didn't know each other hardly at all at that point in time. And we went to a conference, and we came home with a business plan and a vision to change our industry. Simple as that. So at the time, Rachel was a successful wedding photographer in the Germantown, Maryland area, and we were the admins of this small little Facebook group of photographers that was focused, no pun intended, on teaching photographers how to be better business owners. And even though we'd been online friends for a while, we had only met one time in passing, very, very briefly, and we were invited as guests to a conference by the legendary photographer Ken Whitmire, who lived in Yakima, Washington. Ken was a beast in the photography industry, and he ran this photography conference that he invited us to teach people what we wanted to learn. And just like Christina started Sterling Women from a selfish perspective of wanting to get together with women business owners, we started IPSM because we wanted to learn how to better our businesses. We wanted to have the education and the resources available to us so that we could make more money in our business. And Ken hosted this conference in his studio every year, and he had been watching us online. And we got a phone call from him about 2 weeks before his conference, and he said, I want to invite you to come. You don't have to pay for it, just get here. And share with us your story about this online Facebook group of what you're doing to change our industry. And at this conference, Rachel and myself, we had this revelation. And it wasn't really a revelation. It was really more of God coming out of the clouds, hitting us on the head and saying, pay attention. You guys are stupid. How many times do we need to tell you that you are sitting on something great? Now, you need to do something about it. And we were just like, okay, like what do we do now? We had no clue. So you see, at that point in time, that simple Facebook group had started as a local resource for DC Metro photographers, had grown up, like I said, to 38,000 members. It was getting the attention of industry leaders, and we were quite the topic of conversation. We were very unknown, we were very green, we didn't know what we were doing, and all we wanted to do was learn how to have better businesses and to make more money, right? We had fairly successful photography studios. Like I said, Rachel shot weddings. I did the newborns and the babies and the families. We'd been in business for 7 years, and we had reached a stopping point. We kind of felt like we couldn't grow anymore unless we learned more and found out how to do it. But let me get back to that conference. You know how at every conference you go to, it starts on day one, but the night before, there's always like a happy hour, get together where they tell you to come in and meet people that you're going to be hanging out with for the next 3 days. And we arrived at that pre-conference happy hour, and within 15 minutes, 3 people came up to us and said, what are you doing to monetize that group? What are you doing to monetize that group? The third one came up and said, what are you doing to monetize that group? Because if you're not doing anything to monetize that group, I want to buy it from you. And the number that he put out of his mouth made us almost fall to our knees. Like, it cannot be worth that much. But we took that as our sign. It's like, wait a minute. If he wants to pay that much money now, what could we do with it? So we really took off running that week. And you can ask my parents, who I'm super excited that are here with me today, over here. They don't get a chance to hear me speak very often, so I just told them, I said, hey, here's your chance. You're in Loudoun, we're gonna be in Loudoun, so come to lunch. You can ask them that when I make a decision and I decide that I'm gonna do something, I go from about 10 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour in a split second. And that's exactly what happened. By the time the conference was over, we had a business plan and we were off. We got home, we told our husbands that we were starting a business with a person that we'd only met one time previously. And that's kind of how this business was born. Now, you want to try something fun? Go home tonight and tell your spouse and partner that you are going to start a business with someone you don't even know. And you're going to take thousands of dollars from your savings and invest it into this entity for an idea that had never been proven and had no track record at all. See how that goes for you. I am lucky that I'm married to one of the most supporting and encouraging men that I have ever met. And his attitude was like, because he had been watching the Facebook business grow, or the Facebook group grow, and he kind of sat back and he said, let's try it. What have we got to lose? But honestly, I think in the back of his head, he knew he was in a no-win situation because he knew he better get on board because this was going to happen. Like, that's just, he's learned to roll with it pretty well being married to me, and this was just going to happen. So even though Rachel and I are the co-owners, we each have very different roles in the company. My official title is the visionary and the lead dreamer. That is it. Rachel's job is, she is our integrator. When I come up with an idea, and I have lots of ideas, I bring it to Rachel and I say, let's make this happen. And we kind of toss it around, and then we bring it to our team. And Cherie's here from our team today, so she can attest that we bring it to the team, and always, I can hear the moans when I come to the table and say, I have an idea. Oh my gosh, what does this mean, right? But she takes the ideas, we sort them out together. It's her job, along with our team, to make these ideas come to reality. And if you want to know how we do this, we took our cues a lot from Mark C. Winter's book, Rocket Fuel. And if you haven't read that, and if you're an entrepreneur and you have a partner, pick up that book. It's really great. So in the startup days, we learned many things. And the one thing that stands out to me now is how I needed to learn to be really, really brave. In my role as the front person, I develop the ideas, make the connections, ask the favors, and pretty much kind of keep things running smoothly. Entrepreneurship, I have found out, is not for the faint of heart. We dove in headfirst and we didn't look back. We made tons of mistakes, wrong turns, and truly had no clue what we were doing. In all those supposed fails, I learned to be brave, hold my head up high, and find workable solutions every single time. But being brave is different than just acting brave. You can act brave all day long, but until it is tested and proven, you can't really say that you are brave. I can honestly say that I am now brave as a result of some of the things that we had to deal with. And some of the ways that I earned my brave title is that we started an education site in an industry where no one was teaching what we wanted to learn. The entire reason for the success of that Facebook group and the need for the membership site was that we couldn't find what we needed as business owners. A place to learn how to sell the very kinds of things that professional photographers should sell. Not digital files that live on dark hard drives or USB drives, but beautiful wall art that hangs on the walls of your home for generation, and heirloom albums that rest on coffee tables to be shared and looked at by family and friends. And not the consumer grade that you can get online. They're going to fall apart and the glue's going to come undone in a couple years. But the stuff that's made by professional bookbinders and craftsmen with techniques that had been passed down from generation. The kinds of things that I've brought a few samples of today that you can see. That is what we wanted to learn about and provide for our clients. No one was doing this, and we decided it was up to us to pave the way. We were also brave in the fact that we started a business in a predominantly male-dominated industry. In fact, all 3 people that approached us that night at the happy hour at the conference were male. And they were asking us how to monetize things. And interestingly enough, since we started our business and we have found our success, all 3 of those gentlemen have decided to not want to associate with us because we didn't necessarily take their advice. We did things differently. But what they didn't realize, and that what we knew, was that being a woman was our biggest advantage. That how we treated people and our perspective was what our members were drawn to. If they had come in and tried to reconfigure it from their perspective, it really wouldn't have worked out. Another way we were brave is that we refused to let the male leaders, except for Ken Whitmire, in our industry call us the girls. When we first started, everyone started calling us the girls. And it just bugged me. Like, I'm not a girl. I'm a woman. I'm a business owner. I demand some respect. And we finally called people out on it. Like, we had bios and programs calling us the girls or the queen bees. And we're not the type of cutesy people that really wanted those titles. So we had to stand up to people and say, no more. That's not how we're going to be referred to. And some people didn't like it very much. But, we all want to be called what we want to be called, right? So another way we were brave is that we found out that the people who started with us were not going to be our supporters in the end, because they all liked the idea. They all kind of wanted to be, hitch their wagon to ours. But when things started getting rough and when we started having to make decisions that were hard, those were the people that kind of fell off. And we had to be okay with that. We had to be brave in making decisions about our membership. One decision that we made about a year in was that we had to move all of our members from one platform to another. And if you're familiar with the membership site idea, once you get onto a platform, you're pretty much locked in because people have put in their credit cards. Well, we were having tremendous problems on the back end with our site, and we just decided we needed to let it go. So at one point in time, we had to take over 1,500 members, tell them to cancel off the old site, but please, please, please rejoin us over here on this new site. Talk about some sleepless nights. Now, with some nice coupon codes and some things like that, we didn't lose a lot of members when that happened, and that spoke a lot to us that we were on the right track. Everyone told us not to do it, but it was one of those things where we had to. We had to be brave in realizing that people were going to say horrible, hateful things behind our back. But that honestly reflected more on them than it did on us. We had to be brave enough to develop relationships with people who were seemingly untouchable in our industry. And when we reached out, not only did they want to talk to us, they knew who we were. And the biggest way that I can say how that felt is kind of like all of a sudden you get an email from Oprah, and not only does she know who you are, but she's been tracking your progress in your business. Like, I think most of us would probably freak out, maybe just a little if that happened. My bravery continues to be tested every single day. My business partner likes to call me and she says, I have something that might scare you. And when she does this, I always remind her that I'm past being scared, that no matter what it is, we will work it out. Which brings me to my second point for today. The second realization is there are no problems in this business or in any business. My husband and I like to travel a lot, and we take our daughters to a lot of really great places. And about once a year, we find ourselves down in the Caribbean. And one year we were in Jamaica. If any of you have been to Jamaica, it's a beautiful place. And we were on a bus with a tour group riding down this road after a ziplining tour, which I was bitter about anyway because I don't like ziplining, but I took one for the team. And we're driving down the road with potholes the size of Connecticut. You know, you think DC potholes are bad, you got to go to Jamaica, man. And so my husband says, whoa, that's going to be a problem. And the tour guide raises his hand and he says, oh, no, man. You in Jamaica, man. There are no problems in Jamaica, man. They're just situations. That simple phrase, there are no problems, only situations, has dramatically impacted me as to how I think about my business and how I think about my life at home. Everything can be worked out. Everything can be worked out. If you've read Marie Forleo's new book, Everything is Figure Outable, you know that that is her message. But the thing that's interesting is the fact that I don't hear Marie Forleo when I think about everything can be figured out. I hear a Jamaican man in the back of my head saying, no, man, there are no problems, man. Just a situation. So we have had lots of situations over the past 3.5 years of growth. Lots of situations. Like when our content was stolen and sold on another site for profit. When we realized that we had paid Google thousands of dollars in ads when we didn't even know we were running ads. When we lost tens of thousands of dollars to our previous platform site. Because the problem was, the reason we had to move everybody over in the first place was the fact that our members couldn't change their credit card information. So if a card expired or they wanted to change a credit card, the billing was canceled, but they just remained members on our site. And they didn't have a way of adequately reporting that to us. We lost tens of thousands of dollars our first year in business from that situation alone. We had situations when people went behind our backs and contacted our members to tell them to cancel off our site and to join their new site that they were going to start. We had situations, boy, did we have situations, but we handled them the best way that we knew how, and we just carried on. Our situations at times were seemingly insurmountable, but having an attitude of no problem on versus defeat, we rose to the occasion every time to find a solution that worked best for our business, but most importantly for our members. As a personal aside, I can honestly tell you that this change in my thinking from having no problems has dramatically impacted my life at home with my husband and my child and how we deal with things. Because nothing is a big deal. Really, nothing is a big deal. It's not worth it. There are things in life that are important, whether the dishwasher gets emptied or the laundry piles up or whether the house gets cleaned or whether the hot water leaks water all over the hot water heater leaks water all over the basement, and you got to pull up all your carpet. Okay, that's a little too personal. Nothing can't be dealt with. Nothing. And the third thing that I've learned in this adventure is that you cannot be wrong if you put the needs of your members and your clients first. You just can't. All the situations I've listed previously were resolved in a way that honored the commitment to our members, even if that meant that we didn't get paid some months, or if we put off adding, some really cool features for them in the membership, or we didn't take speaking jobs in beautiful tropical locations because we needed to stay home to make sure that everything was okay. Now, we've had mentors and advisors tell us that we are going to go bankrupt acting in this way, that we're going to work ourselves into the ground. But honestly, I can't imagine doing it any other way. Because remember, when we started this company, before we were 62,000 members strong, before we had recorded well over 7 figures in income, before we had employees, insurance, payroll to meet, and payments to process, before we even thought about what this could become, our vision was to create something that we wanted to be members of, that we could benefit from, to learn from people who are like us, who are successful, and we wanted to bring that knowledge to members who were eager to learn. And I'm very pleased to see that I see several of our members here today, and I just really thank you for your support for coming. That is just awesome. So thank you for being here. I can, let's see. Even though I can honestly say that the way we approach our vision has changed, our ultimate goal is still the same: to provide great business education to our members that allows them to run successful businesses, no matter what that looks like for them. And in our industry, a successful photographer could be someone who only wants to take one session a month, or a successful photographer could be someone who wants to take 10 sessions a week. They make those definitions, and we support them no matter which way they want to go. So today I want to encourage you for 3 things. I want to encourage you to be brave, really brave. Everyone here has one thing in their business or in their personal life that they want to do, but there is something in their brain that says, nah, you don't want to do that. It might not work out. You might become embarrassed. Just stay back here where it's safe. That's your brain just telling you a whole bunch of lies. I kind of call my brain my Italian grandmother. Even though I don't have an Italian grandmother, my brain is my Italian grandmother. And she wants me to stay home and be safe, and she wants to feed me ravioli all day long, and that just sounds fabulous because it's safe and it's familiar. But we can't do that. Being brave is like telling grandma to simmer down, be quiet, sit over there, because I got something I need to do. So what do you need to do to tell that voice to just shut it? I don't want to hear you anymore. To finally make the call, what do you really want to do? Make the decision, take the step, move in the direction of your dreams. Don't wait. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? And this is something that right now I work with my daughter on a lot. She is almost 12. She said she's 12. She will be 12 next week, going on about 17. And the big thing that I want to teach her in my experience and sharing with her is that I don't want her to live with the attitude or in the fear of what might happen, because that's going to stop her from making and reaching her goals. I want her to live in the freedom of knowing what can happen. Being brave can be fun, especially when you learn that life is so much better on the other side with courage. So what problem do you have, not problem, what situation do you have looming over you that you're struggling with? So here's the other thing. I want you to stop looking at it as a problem, or challenge you to stop looking at it as a problem. There are no such things as problems, just situations. And if you need to go listen to some Bob Marley to get you in the mood to help you figure it out, you go ahead and do it. Everything is simply a situation that needs creative solutions. No problem, man. The longer you look at something as a problem, the longer it will sit unresolved. Problems don't get really resolved. Situations do. Everything has a solution, really. Everything has a solution. And the last thing I want to just leave you with today is remember, no matter what you do in life, you will never go wrong by treating people the way you want to be treated and showing them the respect that you want to have them show to you. It may not be the most profitable way to run a business. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee you it's not the most profitable way to run a business. But it is the way that I can sleep well at night. I can know I'm doing right by them. I am fine with small amounts of lost profit if it means that my members feel well taken care of, respected and supported in their personal journey to have better businesses. So, be brave, be a creative solution solver, and be kind. Thank you.